Hi. Let's talk about the Coneheads.
Musical styles are still a very important form of communication for our young people. Hi, I'm Joe Feinstein.
This is one of DanAykroyd's best performances and story credits he's ever given us. Dare I say, even beating out Ghostbusters, which I absolutely love. Now, he wrote this alongside Tom Davis and Third Rock from the Sun creator Bonnie Turner, both of whom are friends of his, as well as fellow SNL writers who also won Emmys for their SNL work. Now, there is a lot to cover in this 90 or so minute runtime, so how about we cover it as quickly as we can, huh? DanAykroyd is in this, duh, but we also have a fun ensemble from the SNL crew. Chris Farley, John Lovitz, Michael McKean, and David Spade. Jane Curtin, who also played Mrs. Conehead, is also from Third Rock of the Sun, and Jan Hook, who plays the driving student, was in both of the former projects. We also have Sinbad from A Different World and his self-titled show. Hell, even Drew Carey cameos as a cab rider, and Tom Arnold shows up as a random golfer. Am I forgetting to mention a few names that went on to be big? Yes, because there are that many small parts sprinkled throughout the film. It's really crazy. Big or small, absolutely everybody nails their roles, and it's truly a hilarious time. So, on to the larger things I want to discuss. The first of which being that this film, at its core, is an immigration story. Which, as in your face as it can be at times, it's also surprisingly easy to forget that amongst all the jokes and well-written moments. The Coneheads are quite literally illegal aliens who have to build a life and raise a child in a strange land that they come to learn and truly love. At the start of the film, we see their ship crash in the water and they come onto the shores of New York City, much like the immigrants who passed the Statue of Liberty. They do their best to establish a life for themselves and their child while constantly being hunted by the INS, first with low-tier jobs and then slowly moving up the class scale while doing their best to blend in. They learn the ins and outs of day-to-day living in the US, and not only do they survive, they truly thrive together. Toward the end of the film, there's a great honest moment between Connie and Premat, where Premat comforts Connie after a bad date by not only sharing the story about her losing her own virginity, but also how she felt about meeting her husband.
Mom, what does it feel like to...
Well, for me, the first time, it happened so fast I hardly knew I had honed at all. And after that, it was more repetition than anything else. Before I met Beldar, I was very attracted to a young Theresian forger. And as far as I was concerned, there was no other life force in the universe that mattered. But then he got a job working in a volcano complex on some moon in the Bitumius cluster. I never saw him again, and it broke my blood valve chamber. I got over it, and it worked out for the best. Because then I met your father. And I knew then that I had found my true life mate.
On the flip side, we also get how Beldar feels about his wife, confirming that she's always his top priority despite anything else going on, and puts 1000% into ensuring that she's as happy and comfortable as she can be.
Let us suppose for some reason my life function ceased. What would you do? Would you find a new genetomate to bring to our Guz chamber and propagate?
My most precious one. I would collapse. I would draw the shades, and I would live in the dark. I would never get out of my slar pad nor clean myself. My fluids would coagulate, my cone would shrivel, and I would die, miserable and lonely. The stench would be great.
One of the major ending lines of the film is what Beldar says to his daughter.
Your happiness and positive perception of me is vital to my existence. Besides, it is not every day that a father can give the world to his child.
And sure, it's not the largest talking point by any means, but it's still important, so I certainly couldn't let this episode go by without stating it. And that's simply about finding who you really are. Beldar spends a lot of time learning different talents and professions, both in an attempt to provide for his family, but also just learn what kinds of exciting and interesting things the world has to offer. Part of the reason he decides to leave Remulac and resume his life on Earth is because he found things he truly enjoys. Earth food, golfing, fireworks, and that calm peace he and his family get to enjoy, far away from the stresses and worries of galactic conquest and adhering so strictly to traditions. And I really enjoy how they bring back a few things in the final arena fight. He starts the fight by dodging the monster by moving in between pillars, which feels like a callback to the couple having to escape out the back alleys from the INS earlier in the film. To lure and distract the monster, he sings Tainted Love, calling back how it distracted and annoyed him when he had to listen to it in the car.
Sometimes I feel I want to run away. I want to get away.
And he uses his golf skills to make the monster choke on a rock. And afterwards, he uses all the people skills he's learned to trick his planet's ruler into letting him go back to Earth. And in case there's any confusion, this movie is 100% as funny as it is heartwarming. I'm not even going to name all of the gags, but some of my favorite tidbits are the wife laughing when reading the Bible, the couple screaming at the bowling pins getting knocked down, Beldar calling his wife Earth Woman,
Greetings, Earth Woman.
kids mimicking Beldar's walk, immigrant services giving a giant fuck you to the military,
Should they in fact be creatures from another planet, isn't that Air Force responsibility?
If they're just visiting, sure. But the moment they try to work here, they're mine.
the couple laughing at humans only being able to go to the moon,
Astronauts to the moon.
Primat panicking when seeing an eggplant and then realizing it's only food, the fact that they call Beldar incompetent, but the guy sent to pick him up nearly crashes into the goddamn moon, the balls on the man who got abducted by aliens and is standing in their courtroom and still trying to stick to his job,
I will not apologize for doing my job. The United States of America can no longer solve the employment problems of the rest of the universe.
and the INS assistant still kissing ass in another galaxy.
Hi there. Why don't you let me take care of that? He's having a really tough day.
There are some great lessons to be had with this film, but fuck me, it is truly funny and wacky when it wants to be. Most importantly, I'd like to end with this. Throughout the film, no matter how strange or odd the other human characters may find Beldar to be at times, they never treat him with anything other than love, friendship, and respect, because they see past the exterior to the good person he actually is. And that, above all else, is a truly wonderful message that this film conveys. It doesn't matter where you come from or what your quirks are. It doesn't matter if your family has been here for generations or if you're the first of your family on these shores. People can still love and respect one another and grow as a result. Past all the laughs and all the symbolism of this film, that is a wonderful message. So that's the episode. Thank you so much for watching. I do apologize that this episode is a little shorter than normal. A combination of getting back into the swing of things for the new year. But another reason I've been a little delayed is because I'm actually working on a couple of different collaborations this year. I follow a couple of other YouTube channels that I've super loved for a long time. I reached out to them and they were very open to doing some work with me here on the channel. So very, very grateful to them. I won't spoil who it is yet, but the next episode I'm going to be doing will feature one of them, so definitely be on the lookout for that in the next couple of weeks. Again, thank you so much for watching, always appreciate you, and as always, I'm curious. What do you think?
Musical styles are still a very important form of communication for our young people. Hi, I'm Joe Feinstein.